How are y'all doing? I'm starving. Per usual. I guess I'm gonna have to use this damn lid to eat on. Oh, God. Dressing. I don't want that chicken, though. Looks like there's mixed lettuce and apples in there. First of all, I gotta get in here because they never let us. If you don't know by now, it really aggravates me when my food is not cut up. My parents were perfectionists, so when I was raised, if we were helping in the kitchen, which we were expected to do a lot, we had to set the table, do the dishes, bring in all the groceries, you know, domestic chores in the house that most kids should have to do but don't anymore. If we were cooking, if we're expected to cook or helping with dinner, if something wasn't done right, you were definitely going to get cussed out. And it would be done right. It would be done right. Blue cheese. I don't know what that is, but cranberries. That's one of those sweet things. It is. It's like an almond. How'd that get in there? Hello, hello. Y'all, I haven't had a chance to eat today. Come apart. Oops. Put it in this bowl. Avocado. That came right out. I'm gonna chop this up some. I'm so hungry. I went in the grocery store. I looked at hummus. When the hell did hummus go back up? Because hummus used to be my cheap meal. Hummus was like $3.50. Chickpeas is one of the cheapest things on the damn shelf. Damn, it should be. Grow out the damn... It's a vegetable. Did I get something on me? So much happened last night. It's insane how much stuff happened last night. I guess I want to start with the judge because that's pretty crazy. His name is Yeckel, Steve Yeckel. He apparently committed suicide. He's a Georgia judge. They don't know what happened. They walked in and found him dead in the damn courtroom. He had done damn to his own life. He had been a judge for years. He had a pending lawsuit against him. He had had multiple complaints against him. We don't know what was filed in those laws. Oh, yeah, I do. Workplace harassment. So somebody that worked for him sued him. Hostile work environment. So it looks like he did suicide on Monday night. And he left a letter to the governor, Brian Kemp of Georgia, and it said that he was putting in his resignation, and then they find his dead body. Yeah, he put in his resignation, all right. To heaven. Happy New Year's. I needed to eat so bad. So, he had been working in the court system for over 30 years. He was 74 years old. He'd been doing this a long time, and he had already had several strikes against him for misconduct in office. He was under investigation, and he had lawsuits against him. Those were probably huge contributing factors as to why he took his own life. But we can't be sure. This is out of Effingham County. Effingham. They don't never give you enough dressing with these salads. I don't know, call me crazy. But he's got that look. It's all in the eyes. Go out on a limb and say he wasn't a very good guy. It's so, like, it reminds me of the sheriff that shot the judge. It reminds me of that case that we covered a few months ago that we talked about. So prior to being a judge, he was actually a district attorney. It's very common. As I tell you guys, these guys run in circles. They take different positions in these courthouses over the years. They'll have a 30, 40-year career in different positions. I was literally about to starve to death. He had also worked as a special agent for Georgia's Alcohol and Tobacco Tax Unit. He also had served as an investigator for the Cobb County District's Attorney's Office. He was, and he was currently a judge, so he had worked his way up. This is a typical career. But he was under investigation and had pending lawsuits for not being a good person. I do like the apples in it. I know, I'm about to starve. Happy New Year. Bringing it in with this big old salad. That's why the lettuce has to be cut up. So it looks like the Georgia Bureau of Investigation will perform the autopsy into the judge's death in Effingham County. It also looks like the Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigation Unit is going to do a thorough investigation. Listen, that's who he worked for. They all work together on that side. So if his death is pertaining to anything dealing with corruption, we'll never know. You know, the police can't implicate themselves in these types of things. So if it's something on in the sheriff's office in the courthouse, they're going to keep it close to the vest. You can rest assured. We'll never hear about it again. I was listening to a podcast coming down the road, talking about Boulder Police and JonBenet Ramsey. And I did not know this, but John Ramsey has actually been fighting for about 3 years to get that DNA from Boulder Police Department. The Boulder Police Department is refusing to hand over the DNA. So I just wanted to mention that, because that is, that's, you know, they've had this case for 28 years. Why wouldn't they want to solve it? Unless they would be implicating one of their own, or it's somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Long lost relative protecting somebody. John Ramsey has a 60-minute interview that I also watched last night that you can go look at. And it goes, it's 60 Minutes Australia. It's about 45 minutes long. Great interview. He has been fighting for this DNA, and they won't hand it over. And I looked for because he was supposed to have a meeting this past week with the Boulder Police Department. That 60 Minutes interview, Australia, there is a genealogy expert that he wants to use. She has solved over 200 cases, cold cases. Beautiful blonde lady. You can't miss her on there. Anyway, that is their expert. This is what she does for a living. And she needs the DNA sample to be able to build this tree to solve the case. She has over 200 successful solves in cold cases. Anyone can do it. This genealogy expert more than likely could if she could just have the evidence. It's very, very telling that Boulder Police, something else that I learned, and I was right when I said that they were ill-equipped to be dealing with this type of murder. They never have. They didn't have any kind of police department, homicide detectives. They didn't have anything like that in Boulder when JonBenet was killed. Botched the case from the start. This lady, I looked for an update. That's what I was about to say. This lady was supposed to be going with John to Boulder Police to beg for this DNA of his daughter's murderer. And there's no update yet, but I'm sure that there will be in the next couple of weeks, and we'll stay on top of it and see, you know, if John was able and his genealogy expert, if they were able to get the DNA, because it's imperative in this case. The fact that we have an unknown male's suspect, and it's 6 different spots on her body, just to be clear. I'm like, 6 different samples. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I thought they meant like 6 different people. I'm like, what is going on? They contaminated something. No, I'm just dumb. Oh. So I'm sure y'all have already heard by now that there was some psycho that killed people last night at a New Year's party in New Orleans. I'm gonna end up butchering this guy's name. Shamsud Din Jabbar. He's deceased now, it looks like. They are charging him with acts of terrorism of some sort. Law enforcement officials have identified the suspect in the New Orleans on New Year's Day attack. Sorry, I was trying to read his name again, and I was like, nope, screw that. They say that Jabbar is responsible for killing 10 people and injuring dozens others. He was a 42-year-old man who was, quote, hell-bent on killing as many people as possible at once. This is what I was talking about when I said, y'all be safe tonight. Don't be out in them streets. People are crazy. After Jason Aldean and then the damn parade where the man mowed over people a few years back, you know, the Jason Aldean shooting in Las Vegas, and then the man, he drove over some people, and he was recently incarcerated. Let him out on bond. He should have never been out on bond. I do believe he had like harmed his girlfriend yearly prior to driving his car through a parade of people and killing children and everybody in its path. You know, after witnessing stuff like that, it makes you not want to go out and do anything. This is so good. I hate I had to use this, but it's okay. I'll find somewhere to wash it. So good. It's just scary to think that you're out enjoying yourself. You're getting out of the house for the first time in probably forever. You want to have a few drinks and enjoy yourself and watch the ball drop and kiss your lover. And nowadays, you can't even do that. I can't. Listen, if you're normal and you can still go out and do stuff like that and not constantly feel the threat of society, then good for you. But I have CPTSD, and I'm always on guard. Always. I am going to go out. I'm going to go to a hole in the wall where everybody knows everybody, because in my opinion, that's a less likely chance of people walking in there and driving the car through the building trying to kill everybody. I don't know. Maybe that's just them little backwoods establishments. You never know. Sometimes that makes it worse. They know each other and they fighting in the parking lot over BS, and then they pull out a gun and shoot each other. It's just best to stay in the house. It's just best to stay in the house, apparently. That's funny. Hey, Teresa. Happy New Year. I can't get these cranberries on this fork, y'all, and it's me mad. I've been chasing this pile of cranberries around for 20 minutes. I might have to pull out a darn spoon. This dude was a vet. That's wild. He's an American citizen. He was born and raised in Texas. Formerly served in the U.S. Army. He went out in a firefight with cops. He was shot and killed. I'm trying to find the details, but, you know, I ain't had time to do nothing today. I'm working on it. I'm finally coming back to life. So it looks like he started shooting, then the cop started shooting back. 2 officers were wounded during the attack. So it looks like he was wearing body armor when he crashed the car. Y'all, he went there with the intent of killing people. He was suited up like damn Batman and damn body armor. What is wrong with people? Ugh, this salad is making me mad. So eyewitnesses claim to have seen him Jabbar walking out of the truck, which he crashed into revealers wearing full body armor. He also had an assault rifle. Okay. So it looks like there was an ISIS flag on the back of the truck that he was driving. So it looks like this was a pickup truck driving it at a high rate of speed and trying to just run over as many people as he possibly could. The carnage broke out to over 300 officers being present on Bourbon Street. That is a very busy area down in New Orleans. Strip clubs, bars, just everything around that area. I bet it was packed as hell. Like, no, absolutely not. No, I don't want to go. Are you crazy? Thousands of damn people in the street. I am good. I don't even want people looking at me. You think I want people all on every side of me? Like, no, absolutely not. It sounds like torture. I'm sorry. Mm-mm. So it looks like they're not giving exact numbers. It's really sad. It's probably going to unfold. I want to know more about his history, who he was. Happy New Year. Southern accents are awesome. That's funny. Is it that bad? Yeah, the FBI is investigating it as an act of terrorism. So, I mean, clearly, if he showed up in body armor, honey, with a gun and he's mowing people down with a car, clearly it's intentional, you know? That's a great way to, like, explain intent, is the fact that he was behind the wheel of a car. You know how much thought process goes into getting in the car, cranking up the car, and then doing that? It's absolutely intentional. And then you're in bodysuit, too. Yo, I guess I've been on the road too long today. I can damn chat messages. My eyes. I have been looking at the computer a lot too, so. Dang it. Get on the fork. I give up. I give up. Damn it. He rented a Ford pickup truck. Then how did he get the damn ISIS sticker on the back of it? And it was a flag. Oh, that was found in the vehicle. See how two different medias report different things? So the first report said that it was an ISIS sticker on the back of the car, the truck. It's an F Ford. It was a pickup. It's like an F-150, F-250, probably an F-150, because anything over a 250 you have to have a special credit card for. Enterprise won't, don't ask me how I know this, but Enterprise won't let you rent unless you got like $50,000 to put on hold. Like, it's crazy. So it's probably an F-150. But the first one said it was a sticker. Now this one is saying that it was an ISIS flag was found in the vehicle. something several news outlets had reported differently, and the agency said it was trying to determine the suspect's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations. Well, I probably have salad in my teeth. Please excuse me. That was delicious. I needed to come back to life because my sugar level was low. Also got a yogurt. I thought I had a yogurt. Oh, wow. Weapons and a potential improvised explosive device was found in the attacker's truck, and other possible explosive devices were recovered in the French Quarter area. Lovely. Over 300 officers on scene. And this shit's just going right under your nose, right next to you. So the FBI said that bomb technicians are trying to determine if the IEDs are viable and working to render them safe. So it looks like he had a shootout with cops. He opened fire on responding officers after ramming his vehicle into a crowd of people. He was killed after officers returned fire. You know, this is one of those situations where we got to get a hold of the situation because people's lives are in danger. So, you know, I wouldn't have been mad if the cops started firing at him through his car, you know? Like, he's out of control. In body armor with explosive devices and potential guns and running people over. He actually, this is premeditated as hell. And if he wasn't dead, he deserves the death penalty. In a court document filed as part of the divorce proceedings in 2022, Jabbar disclosed that he worked for an accounting firm at the time and earned around $120,000 a year. He also was ex-military, U.S. Army. So it looks like he was charged with 2 minor crimes in 2002 and 2005. First for misdemeanor theft in Katy, Texas, near Houston, and later with driving with an invalid license. So it looks like this happened at 3:15 a.m. The attacker rammed a truck into a crowd of pedestrians on Bourbon Street at 3:15 early Wednesday. The truck struck several people before it crashed. Several police officers responded to the scene of the crash, after which the suspect emerged from the vehicle and fired at them. His bullets struck 2 officers who were in stable condition before officers returned fire. He was killed at the scene, and rightfully so. Wow. I'm sure this is going to unfold in the next week, and we will definitely update on this because I do want to know more. I'm curious to know why he left the military, how long he was in the military, did he do tours overseas? Listen, I need to know. Very sad. I mean, thank God there probably wasn't, you know, children there, because this was more of an adult, Bourbon Street is more of an adult thing, but, you know, you never know. I just, pray that the people that are still in the hospital make it. It's terrifying. It's literally like my biggest fear is a massacre like that in a social setting where I can't escape. And I've talked about how when I go into movie theaters, I'm always peeping out the exit, man. Just anywhere like that, because you get too many people condensed in an area, there's nowhere for them to go, and people move slower than others. And we saw this with things like 9/11, where people were just trampling each other coming down stairwells. So the Travis Scott incident, where all of them children were pushing up against the railing and it killed people, you know, at his concert. So you get too many people together and it can become deadly, super quick, especially when mass panic is involved and people are freaking out, you know. Y'all, at this point, I have literally lost count at how many subway attacks there have been in the past few days. I don't even know which one to start with, honestly. There was a young kid, Kamel Hawkins, 23, out of Manhattan. He was arrested yesterday, he apparently pushed a pedestrian who had their back turned to him on the subway rails, killing them. These, even though we have our military down on these subway carts, subway terminals, don't know what to call them. I've never been on one. It doesn't seem to be helping. Crime is just crazy. There's been multiple people killed at Penn Station. The subway fire. The poor lady was finally identified. There's been so many this week, and it's just crazy. So it looks like he shoved... the man is accused of randomly shoving a strap hanger onto the Manhattan subway track just as a train pulled into the station. So it looks like he approached a 45-year-old man from behind at 1:30 p.m. and he pushed him onto the bed. Ain't that the tracks, y'all? Disturbing surveillance video caught the unprovoked assault and shows Stan hopping the turnstile seconds before Hawkins allegedly struck, ramming his victim into the path of the train. This is the type of evil that's too common, and we're seeing a lot more of this in society. This young kid, he's 23 years old. He doesn't look like he's doing well. I mean, clearly not, Brooke. He just killed somebody. It's so scary. You're just standing there. You're waiting for your train, your morning coffee. You on the way to work. And then all of a sudden, it's just over. You wake up in front of Jesus. Hopefully. Hopefully. You're like, what the heck happened, Jesus? I was waiting on a train, not to come see you, but glad I landed here. Glad this subway stopped here. So sad. So it looks like he was rushed to the hospital. He was placed in critical condition. They were able to, the cops were searching train cars and spotted the suspect matching the assailant's description. The victim was later able to identify him. So did he live? So it looks like he has one prior arrest for aggravated assault back in October. So that's his first prior. What is going on with this dude? It was just in October where he really started getting in trouble. Oh yeah, he's been charged with attempted murder and felony assault. And I hope the guy lives. It looks like they're taking care of him. But he is in critical condition. Still, it looks like the victim was able to identify this guy, and I'm glad he lived, but so the woman was Deborah Kawam, and she was aboard the Brooklyn F train, and she was 57 years old and was set on fire. Her last moments were caught in a horrific viral video that shocked the city. And that she's not the only one that has died on a subway this week. Stabbings in Cathedral Parkway Station, Harlem, at 9:30 yesterday morning. It was the first attack of the day. A 30-year-old man was stabbed in the head, side, hips, and he was on a southbound platform. Hold on, that's not... I mean, it's just... How many National Guards are down there? Like, how many service members are down there? And these are different stations. But it's just... I feel like this has been going on for 4 years, but it was covered up and it wasn't reported on. There's no way that everybody just woke up last week and decided to start committing mass murder on subway carts. This is what I was talking about when I said there's going to be a switch when Trump comes back into office. And we're starting to, what's really been going on for years, you know, that has not been reported on. So there's two There's a suspect in custody after 2 people were randomly slashed at Grand Central Station on the 25th of December. So this was a little before the woman, no, she was set on fire the day before Christmas, I do believe. So it looks like a suspect is in custody after 2 people were slashed at the subway station at Grand Central overnight. It happened around 10:15 p.m. on Tuesday on a northbound train platform. It appears the attacks were random and unprovoked. It looks like Jason Sargent, 28, approached a 42-year-old man, and they got into some sort of argument on the platform. The victim was slashed in the wrist before the suspect ran away upstairs. Officials say that Sargent then slashed a 26-year-old woman in the neck who was standing near a turnstile on the next train station. He tried to escape on an escalator, but witnesses pointed him out to police. He was quickly arrested, and police said the suspect has multiple prior arrests. They recovered the knife in his jacket, and he is facing charges including assault, reckless endangerment, menacing, criminal possession of a weapon, and more. And I've got lettuce in my teeth, excuse me. Ugh. Yeah. Both of the victims were taken to the hospital and are supposed to be in stable condition. I mean, it's just story after story when it comes to these subway stories. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's really scary, though. You're just living your daily life, doing a simple chore like hopping public transport. You don't expect to die, you know, and you shouldn't fear. I can only imagine how the citizens of New York feel down there. Like, you know, I've heard people talk about how women are not safe down there, you know, and it's really scary to think that that poor woman was sleeping on that train by herself. You know, she went through some stuff being homeless on that cart. I mean, he literally burned her to death. That is probably the worst thing that ever happened to her, but it's not the only thing. I can assure you, with her being homeless and down on luck. So I want to talk about a case out of Baltimore, Maryland. This is actually Aberdeen. There's a mother that was charged New Year's Eve last night with the death of her daughter. And it actually happened the day before yesterday. There was a 5.5-month-old baby girl, and they don't know what happened to her. She brought in to Johns Hopkins Hospital, and they discovered multiple skull fractures. They also discovered brain bleeds and a fractured leg. She later died 2 days later on December 31st, and they do believe that the 32-year-old mother did this, Maya Dennis. She had sole care and sole custody of the child. So the sheriff's office said that multiple potential witnesses and suspects provided inconsistent accounts of how the baby got hurt. According to deputies, Dennis was interviewed and allegedly, quote, made statements indicating that she was the one that was responsible. I just want to say that it's not, listen, I'm not a medical professional, but the brain bleed, the skull fractures, and the fractured leg, they definitely tell a story. You know, that's just, you know, they tell a story. This is something that you would typically see in an actual child abuse case. These are the types of wounds, injuries that you would typically see in a regular child abuse case. This is when law enforcement needs to be notified and the child needs to be taken immediately. Those brain bleeds and skull fractures, I don't know if you get that from shaken baby syndrome, but something happened to this child, and it wasn't she fell down on an orange ball and broke her arm. You know what I mean? And then the mother admitted that she did this in some way. She made statements indicating that she was the one that was responsible. She was taken into custody, and she has a pending bail hearing. I went to look to see what I could find out about her. I don't know how many other children she had. I don't know the circumstances. I don't know anything, but the fact that she admitted doing this, yeah, girl, you need to be under the jail. Looks like she already had pending charges for misdemeanor theft. She's scheduled to go on trial March 3rd for that unrelated matter. She's also been charged twice in the past for assault in 2011 and 2012. Both cases were placed on the inactive docket. That's interesting to me. I wonder who else was living in the house, if she had more kids. I don't know. It's just crazy because that is so many injuries. So many injuries. Yes. So that is, I thought so. I need to just go with my gut more. So yes, this is an injury that you would typically see with shaking baby syndrome, which is where a child is held up and vigorously shake to the point that their brain starts to bounce off of their skull. And it's a specific injury that we see a lot in child abuse cases. This is child abuse. This is child abuse. So it's called a subdermal hematoma due to the violent movement causing the brains to bounce against the skull, the walls of the skull. It results in bruising, swelling, and bleeding within the brain, which can lead to severe and permanent brain damage or even death. Now, this child was only 5.5 months old. I want to look up the medical part. I want to be clear with the medical terminology. So, okay, so you can get skull fractures as well from shaking the baby. You can get them multiple ways. So, this baby was either hit in the head or it was shaken. It was either hit extremely hard in the head or it was shaken. Now, it would be different if she come into the ER and she said, oh, he slipped and fell on a rubber ball. Okay, and fell down some steps. That might be different, you know, but it doesn't seem like that's what took place. It seems like she's guilty as hell, and she even admitted that she did it. It seems like indicating that she did it to law enforcement. So it says skull fractures in infants can be caused by child abuse, such as shaking or hitting the baby, or by accidental trauma, such as So that's what I'm saying. I guess I'm glad that she told the truth, you know. Also, shaken baby syndrome can cause head or neck injury. Neck. I guess that makes sense, you know. Girl, you going to jail. And speaking of moms that are child abusers today, an Alabama woman, this happened, I think, a week or two ago, and this was just published today for some reason. I hate when stuff takes so long to come to light, but it looks like an Alabama mother, Wendy Pamela Bailey. She's 22. She absolutely looks psychotic as hell. From my basic understanding, she had 2 children. The baby, she had a baby boy, I do believe, has been missing, and they don't know where he is. They can't find his body. He was missing weeks prior. Let's just read this. They don't know where this child is, and he's presumed dead. An Alabama mother has been arrested for allegedly notifying investigators that her missing 1-year-old toddler had died, and his body was kept in a storage shed, according to a criminal complaint. The discovery was made shortly after Wendy Pamela Bailey, 22, was involved in an accident that claimed the lives of Stephen Bradley Collins, who was 40, and Riley Collins, who was 2, which was her daughter. So her daughter and that man has the same last name as that child, Collins. So I'm going to assume that this was his kid and they were dating, but it doesn't say. Going off common sense, reading between the lines. She kills her boyfriend and their child, and there was another child that was unaccounted for at the scene of the crash, and this was 1-year-old Caleb Rowan Collins. Following an investigation into the whereabouts of Caleb, the Alabama State Bureau of Investigation believes that he is deceased. The results of the investigation led them to believe that Caleb was not only deceased, but that he had been dead for some time. So this baby has been missing for a minute, okay? I thought they said like a month or 2 months, but I don't know. Investigators allege evidence shows that the father, Stephen Collins, had abused the boy and that the mother failed to intervene or report the abuse. Listen, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say these people were doing drugs. Listen, I got a knack for these things. The mother looks absolutely deranged. It is my belief that these people were mixed up in drug use, but that's alleged. They also believe that Bailey knew the body had been put in a storage shed. Photos allegedly show some of the abuse through images of the child's bloodied and hanging from a rope. There were also pictures of him lying on the floor covered in bruises. This baby was 1 year old. This one, I mean, and regardless of the age, I just want to be clear that this was a 1-year-old child. Officials say that, hold on. So it looks like the father was sending messages to the mother saying he wants to move and I'm so sorry, and he's moving. And Bailey replied, he just looks wore out and tired, and hopefully that's it. So the cops are alleging these messages were passed back and forth when this child was being abused, and the father seems to trying to be coercing the mother into being nicer towards the child, and the mother is just saying, oh, he's tired, he's worn out, and hopefully that's it. His body has still not been recovered, although law enforcement teams are actively gathering information and searching for his remains. You know, people like this can be gifted with a beautiful family and opportunity and resources, and these people had family. I saw a video, her family. This is a huge case. I do believe there's content on like Law and Crime you can go watch. But she had resources, you know, and they were up to something. Now, whether it was drugs or whether they were just crazy in the head, I don't know. But here, let me find her mugshot. It's just sad. It's just so screwed up. Wendy Williams. No. She ain't doing well. Let's see if we can get it. Tell me this woman don't look crazy. Y'all, first of all, this is what I'm talking about when I say that methamphetamine absolutely has signs. Look at this. I love that. I'm so glad I pulled this up. Do you see how her hair is falling out? You see that thinning? That is either mental health drugs or that is methamphetamine. The way that methamphetamine is produced with all of the chemicals and stuff, this is a side effect of methamphetamine that you see in people, but also mental health drugs. Mental health drugs. I've noticed people that are on heavy mental health drugs, they'll sometimes have hair thinning. Like, it can also be a sign of your diet. But methamphetamines, a lot of users. One of my Planet Fitness accusers, that's what she looks like. She looks deranged. Like the girl that was high in front of me in Planet Fitness, they could be twins. They could be twins. The one that said I needed a home when she was high on drugs, the Planet Fitness worker, remember? Treasure. Looks just like that at 100 pounds. So yeah, that's, in my opinion, these people were doing some hardcore drugs. And or mental health drugs. You know, surprisingly, you know, she's only 22. That's a 22-year-old girl. I just want, okay, I know she looked 40, but she's only 22. So, you know, that's not good, not good. And I feel horrible for her children. Had to live under her for, you know, the 2 years of their lives. Y'all, the car crash, she totaled the car. The body was like not even in a car seat. That kid was not in the car seat. So her son is missing. Her daughter and husband are killed in an accident where she was driving, and the baby in the back not even have on a seatbelt or nor was in a car seat, and that child was 2 years old. You be the judge. You be the judge of whether or not she was on drugs. They said that the officers on the scene had a really hard time with that because that little girl's body, because it was a horrific car. I can see if I can find pictures. Her name is Wendy Pamela Bailey. Let's see if we can find some car crash. Yep. This baby not in a car seat. This baby was not in a booster seat. There was nothing. This is the side that they found the little girl on. And as you can just see the seat belts and just the airbags. I mean, it's just a complete wreck. Let's see. Let me see. Go to... Did she wrap that thing around a tree? Why does one side... Oh, the truck bed came off of it. You see that? The truck bed's off right there. The truck... She damn wrapped that damn thing around a tree or something. What a psycho. Those were the kids. That's her son that's missing. That's the little girl that got killed. And that looks to be the man she was dating that was 40. Yeah, me too. Bruh. What is good? She looks like Turpin. Don't she look like the, oh God, the Turpin case, y'all. Don't she look like one of the Turpin crazy? Listen, that hair falling out and stuff tells me everything. They was either doing drugs or she was on some heavy ass mental health drugs. Like, you don't get in a car accident like that by accidentally doing 10 over the speed limit. That is a 100-mile-an-hour crash. It's a miracle she even lived. You see the driver's side too. Like, hold on one second. So here's some court documents that I was able to find. Let's see if it has something about the crash. That's not a 65-mile-an-hour type of accident. You know what I mean? That's not a 55 in city limits doing 35 miles an hour. She had to have been going in extreme speeds to do that kind of damage. I've flipped a car before, so, you know, I've been in a major accident that was life-threatening. So, you know, yeah. And I was doing 70, and my car looked nothing like that, flipping somewhere between 7 and 11 times. So, for her to have that vehicle looking like that and no child seats. And it's, you know what's crazy is another case of a couple that were on methamphetamine, and they had 2 children, and they had a small daughter who was probably 2 to 4, and then the mother had birthed a new infant, and this couple was so strung out on methamphetamine that they actually completely neglected their newborn son. They lived in a tiny 2-bedroom little like duplex type of thing, and they left this child in a hot, stifling room with no AC. Actually, when they found this baby's body, investigators, when they initially went to the crime scene, there was a tarp or a curtain over the door frame of this child's bedroom, and there was curtains over the windows, and so this baby had been in a pitch black room with it so hot. Like, it was the middle of summer. These officers were sweating their asses off. They were the crime scene investigators had to get in there and do their diligence to try to get evidence from this crime scene. There was flies all over the place. This baby had been dead in this swing for, I do believe, days, if not weeks. It had to have been weeks, because there was larvae. There was multiple processes of the larvae found on the body. For those that don't know, when a body starts to decompose, we see small larvae, and then there'll be flies, and there's a process, and it takes days or weeks. And I don't know the exact science behind it, honey. I just know what I know. They can tell how long a body has been deceased by the process of the flies and larvae on a body. And so they knew that this baby had been in this swing for a very long time because of this process. It's crazy. I think the most craziest thing for me is not understanding why these parents, just like this woman and her husband, why they killed off their youngest and kept the oldest. It probably comes down to, you know, the drugs and what they're able to manage. And I'm not saying that drugs by any means, because I did drugs and I ain't never killed a child. I ain't never beat a child. I ain't never harmed a child. And I did drugs for many, many years. So I'm not trying to say that the drugs did it. But what I am saying is there's a reason that, and this was a newborn baby too. So what happened was they had this newborn baby. They kept taking care of their older daughter. At some point, this baby, he died from starvation. He died from diaper rash. He died the most horrific abuse that a child could go through. This poor child sat in a baby swing for weeks until he just died. It is one of the most disgusting abuse cases that I know about. If y'all want to learn more about that, I can tell you the gritty detail. But I mean, that case has stuck with me. It's my, it's the one that really upsets me the most, and something that I never understood. But we've seen this. I've seen other meth heads do this. There was another case of a couple that lived in a trailer. The father, the baby's body was found out in the woods. It was in a duffel bag that the father owned. It was crazy. They took care of their eldest daughter. It was the newborn baby that once again was killed and abused. And I think that it has a lot to do with the management of their drug problem and the kid itself, because when they're doing drugs like that, y'all know meth heads are erratic. There's no way that you could take care of a child in that condition. I mean, listen, it's horrific. I don't know those people's names, but I could find that case and we could like go over everything that happened. I mean, it's just horrible. It's absolutely horrible. But it's crazy because it relates back to this case with this mother. She kept her oldest. I mean, she clearly was not taking care of her. She was not even in a damn seatbelt in the back of the car. So disgusting. The whole family. I mean, that's another thing. We know the father was complicit in something because he knew his son was missing and he never reported his son missing. I don't know. I really think that drugs were involved in this case. A lot of these cases, drugs are involved, but it's not printed or mentioned unless it's in the benefit of someone. You know what I mean? I wish that cops and investigators were more open about that. I wish they'd come out and say, yeah, they were smoking crack. How much would that help reform and help people stay away from drugs? I wish that, they would say these things more, but they don't. And now the parents that Cheyenne Harris was the mother, and I don't remember. The baby's name was Sterling. Where's the father's name? This happened in 2019. Well, she was sentenced in 2019. Zachary Cohen. So Cheyenne Harris was 21, was convicted of first-degree murder and endangerment and resulting in the death after her son, Sterling Cohen, died of malnutrition, dehydration, and an infection. And the infection was, y'all, it was so bad. This baby was sick in so many ways. Like, he needed so much help. And, like, he was sick from sitting in the swing. He had been left there for weeks just to die. It looks like the baby's father, who was 29, was convicted of the same charges. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Sterling was found dead on a mechanical swing weighing less than 7 pounds in the couple's apartment in Alta Vista, a small town northeast in Iowa. Feces in his diaper ate through his skin, allowing E. coli bacteria to enter his bloodstream and cause infection. So it was a lot more than I remembered. The hot room he was in attracted flies, which laid eggs that hatched into maggots while Sterling was still alive. They crawled in his clothes and in his diaper for days. A forensic entomologist who examined insects on Sterling's body concluded the baby had been in his swing for 9 to 14 days in the same diaper. Autopsies, photographs appeared to show the boy wearing camouflage pants and a shirt with a cartoon cow above the words, "Let's play," bleeding from the mouth. Harris cried in court after prosecution, "We don't care. We don't care." So this girl, Cheyenne Harris's attorney, tried to argue that she was suffering from postpartum depression and was self-medicating. Yeah, she was self-medicating with meth. They were both meth heads. They were meth heads. Yep. So the infant had raw diaper rash and seemed underweight and always ate hungrily. This was a babysitter that testified that had watched this child before. She testified that the first time that she babysitted for Harris, Harris left the 3-month-old Sterling and 2-year-old girl with her for 17 hours. So the infant's father called 911 on August 20th of 2017 and lied to the dispatcher when he suggested Sterling had died of sudden infant death syndrome. Deputies found the boy's body in a bedroom separate from where Cheyenne and Zachary stayed and their older child slept. So the whole family but the newborn baby is cohabitating together, and this poor baby is in a bedroom by himself. So the state medical examiner determined the boy's death was a homicide. His cause of death was listed as failure to provide critical care. And deputies say that this goes far beyond neglect. Yeah, and you know, what should have been showcased in this trial was their drug history, their drug use, and how these drugs changed them, okay? It changed them. They living and breathing and sleeping. Well, no, they wasn't sleeping. They was living and breathing methamphetamine, honey, and nothing else. And it's hard to know that, you know, there's so many of these cases that are pertaining back to methamphetamines. And, you know, it is my opinion that this mother in Alabama and her husband were wrapped up in some methamphetamine use. But I have no proof of that. It was either that or mental health drugs, because something was going on in that damn family. Normal people don't kill their kids. It's just crazy. It's sickening. Well, I'm about to go. I got a lot to do. I need to go throw away trash. I need to wash that. I just don't want to be on the road with my phone. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm actually tired. I might need a damn drink some caffeine. I haven't had any since this morning. I've actually chilled out on the caffeine. Like, it sometimes can make my stress worse, you know? Like, it puts me on edge more. So I've been chilling out on the caffeine. I need a warm day, because I need to go to my storage, and damn, I'm nowhere near there, but I need to go there and do some stuff. And with it cold like this, it's in the 50s, and I think it's going to get colder. It's probably going to get colder. It's in the 50s right now, so sucks, but it is what it is. I better get used to it, at least for a while, until I get comfortable in school. Once I get everything set up and figure out if I'm going to have to go into campus or, you know, whatever, then I'll figure it out then. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. I went by my P.O. box. You know, they're closed today, so they're closed today. I mean, I can check my mailbox, but my mailbox ain't but this big. So if you sent me something in a package, I can't pick it up because there's nobody in the office to give it to me. My P.O. And I was actually wondering about that. I was like, if it don't fit in the box, do I just not get it? Do they return to sender? Surely not. Surely they put it on a shelf for me, right? Please tell me these people have sense and they do stuff the right way. They put it on a shelf and save it, right? Yeah, I know there's supposed to be snow in certain parts of NC next week. Happy New Year. Yeah, no, I don't want to mess with that stuff. Y'all too. Y'all be safe out there, and we'll talk, and pray for me, because God knows I need it, and I'm praying for you guys. Bye, y'all.